Good afternoon, Average Flatlanders. Today we're going to talk about a hot topic that's probably going to get me in trouble on YouTube. It is bear spray versus guns. It's bear protection. What should you use? What should people use? Bear spray, gun, both? What's going on? What should you use? I mean, can you really even get to the truth of the matter with this one? I feel like this one is such a hotly debated topic that I don't even know if it's possible to convince someone on the fence or who's on one side of the aisle to come to your side. If you're a gun person, if you're a spray person, I don't know. People are just entrenched on their side. Bear spray, guns in the backcountry. What is the answer? Which one should you use? I think we should set the record straight in a few items before we talk about this, before we get into the meat. And I think we should just be honest and upfront about some of these things getting into this topic. I mean, let's start with it. Certain people just hate guns and are simply for bear spray because they just hate guns. It's a political issue to them. It really doesn't have anything to do with anything else. And that goes for both sides of the issue. It can turn into a political issue. Some people are for guns just because it's political to them. They don't want to carry bear spray. They want to carry a gun because they're from Alaska. That's just the way it's going to go. But there's also things like most people are just going to carry bear spray because it's more easily available and everyone can use it. Guns are just not something that everyone has or can even use. So it's going to be obvious that most people are going to carry bear spray because it's the easiest route for bear protection for anyone. Let people do whatever they want. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I also think it's fair to say it's a complicated topic and there's probably not one answer for every single situation. Okay, let's just start out with probably the first thing that gets brought up with the bear spray versus guns. There's two major articles here. You can see them on the screen that basically say that bear spray is more effective. There was a study done in 2008. I basically analyzed about 80 some bear incidents and just what was the positive outcome of that. And then there's another one that was done on firearms. And it showed, if you basically look at these two, that, bear spray is a little bit more effective in having a positive outcome. So a lot of people use that data, use those to say you should always use bear spray, not a gun. As someone who's a data person myself, I would say to be, yes, that's true, and I believe this, and I carry bear spray. I think this is a great to use data, but I also think it's easy for people to twist data and make something say that it doesn't necessarily say and apply it to everyone or carte blanche when that's really not what the data is saying. The data does say that, yes, bear spray is more effective, and I don't think we have to dig too deep to find out why that is. I don't think you have to make a big deal out of it and I don't think gun people need to fight that. I think there's obvious reasons why bear spray can be more effective for most people. Think about what we talked about before. Most people are not proficient using firearms. The general population is going to be much more effective using bear spray because the general population, most people aren't carrying guns, nor are they that adept at guns where they could effectively use it against a bear. So it seems to be pretty obvious that, yes, if you look at a study of bear spray outcomes, gun outcomes, yeah, spray is probably going to win because everyone can use it. It's probably a little bit more forgiving. I think that's pretty obvious. Think about it. You're spraying bear spray. It kind of like spreads out. Yeah, it's probably going to work. You think about someone using a firearm, especially if they're not that good at it. Yeah, of course it's going to be easy for them to miss in a high-stress situation. If they're not highly trained and extremely accurate, yeah, bear spray probably would be more effective for them, to be able to spray it around rather than try to shoot a bear in the eye. But you do have people on the other side, people who live in Alaska. You got like the whole guide and hunting section of outdoor people who say, they never go without a gun. These guides in the backcountry, they're using guns, and some people would even argue that some of the Forest Service personnel out in there, they're carrying guns as well. So why shouldn't I? Also, there's been some recent news around bear attacks, fatal bear attacks involving bear spray that have gotten a lot of publicity that have actually turned out bad. There's one recent one from Canada where a super old couple was out backpacking. They basically got killed by a brown bear, and there was empty spray. The bear spray didn't work. It was just a very horrible story. Check it out sometime. Also, another recent one from Montana, I believe, where the guide was out fishing and, again, killed by a grizzly bear, and they found an empty can of bear spray, and they did catch the bears, and they could tell they had been sprayed, and the spray just obviously didn't work. And I think it's stories like that that can freak people out and say, man, bear spray doesn't work, I should carry a gun. And I really don't think it's that simple. I think that people look at it as black and white, and it's really not that simple. Anyone who goes out in the backcountry and is in bear country realizes that there's an inherent risk with that, and that every situation is probably different. Every bear is probably different. Honestly, which one should you use? Well, the data does say that bear spray is more effective. Is bear spray going to be 100% effective every single time? No, it's not. And people shouldn't say that because there's many examples where it hasn't worked. But that's just part of taking a risk, right? One idea I've always had is, why do people have to pick one or the other? Let people pick what's more comfortable for them. Let them look at the data. Hopefully, I should say, at a minimum, everyone should carry bear spray. I think even people carrying firearms should have bear spray. It's more effective, and I think it should probably use as the first line of defense because it's probably safer for you and the bear, and it is more effective according to the data and the studies, and you can't argue with that. But there is this thing where some people just hate guns and say, well, no one should carry a gun. You should just have a bear spray all the time. And there's obvious cases where that haven't worked. So what's the matter with people carrying both? Why does it have to be one or the other? If some people want to carry both, that's probably about as 100% effective as you're going to be. Again, there's no guarantees. There's no 100% effective, this thing is going to keep me from never getting eaten by a bear ever. That's not going to happen because every situation is different. Even if you have a firearm and a grizzly jumps you out of brush and it's too close, that could just be the end, right? And again, a lot of people argue, they look at these fatal incidents, especially recently, and said, well, maybe there would have been a different outcome if that person would have had a firearm because obviously the bear spray didn't work. Well, yeah, that is true. And I mean, there is something to that. And I think people that are 100% on the bear spray side should take that into account. They should think about that for certain people in certain situations. Yes, here's incidents where it didn't work, and if they would have had a firearm, it probably would have had a different outcome. I think the key is to not treat it like a political or a cultural issue, which it can be. Guns are extremely divisive, especially in the current culture we live in. But I don't know. I think you should do whatever makes you feel comfortable, and I think at a minimum everyone should carry bear spray. And if you're a certain person in a certain situation, a certain area, and you feel like a firearm would make you sleep better out in the backcountry, just feel more protected, then I think it's okay to do that, and don't let anyone tell you that's not okay. I know this debate is crazy. People on all sides of the issues. You guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you carry bear spray all the time? Do you carry a firearm? Do you like firearms? Usually, people have strong opinions. Let us know in the comments.